everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, this is a good moment whereby we're going to bring our minds together and look at how to welcome guests in the church. I've talked to various ministers of the Word of God, and one of the problems that has been pulling down or bringing in and dysfunctioning in the growth of the church is failure to welcome people the right way in the house of God. I have a question for each one of you. Have you ever been to a new place of worship, and nobody welcomes you, nobody says anything to you, but just looks at you, everybody's staring at you, and nobody talks to you? Think about that. And anyway, whose responsibility is to welcome visitors in the house of God? This is one thing that we will discuss and acquaint ourselves with who should do that, and even have that feeling that a visitor has when they come and no one welcomes them, or they come and somebody welcomes them. One thing that we have to know is that you and me are not guests, but we are the host. And so that answers our question of whose responsibility is it to welcome guests in the house of God. So you and me have the responsibility of welcoming new time or first time guests into the church. As I was reading through a book, I came across this man called Mary Troyer, and there is a quote that he quoted of a man called Eshelman, that one of the impressive gestures that we can extend to first-time visitors is for people with no official position to take the initiative and welcome them. But there has to be a driving force to welcoming people in church. And looking into it, love is a driving force that makes people extend their hearts to others and embrace them just the way they are. Jesus is our role model, and he had that heart of love. He even mingled with people of every kind, until one time he was accused of dining with sinners. Without love, we will be lacking in welcoming people in the house of God, because different people will come in and they will need somebody to embrace them. The other thing is that never let guests sit alone. If that happens, they will feel separated. They will feel unworthy. They will feel like they don't belong, and that one throws them off. And that is one thing that causes many even not to return. Again, this man called Eshelman is quoted by Troyer. He said, "New people should never have to sit alone. Take initiative and go to them without delay, because you never know what may happen in between when you are delayed." And whenever you just try to make sure that because some of them, they may shy off or not even ask any question, but just be there with them. And it was so amazing that I also came across in another book that I was reading for this man called Tom, that he noticed that new time people were disappearing after their first visit. And he did a research, and he went to every one of them, 24 of them. And every one of them had their own reasons why they did not go back to church. Some were saying that, like one woman was saying that It's because when she was seated, the lights were not bright. She couldn't read her Bible. And another funny one of them said that the people were too, the people, the congregation were too much, like they were too loving. She said that she had come from an event and she was so tired and everybody was all over her. And so this one gave me a hint that we also have to put limits on everything. And again, this is a quotation too from Eshelman. Practice making people feeling special, and what you give to people will be returned to you. And briefly, let's see what happens with different kinds of welcoming. And the first one will be a welcome from a good heart. Oh, hello, brother. How are you? Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
Have a seat. Feel at home.
Thank you.
If we welcome somebody in with a good heart, they feel happy, they feel that they belong. Let us look at a heart that is not so welcoming. Imagine if that was you, how would you feel? Thank you so much, my audience and my peers and my instructor.